The mandate of the Ministry of Information essentially is to create platforms that allow government to engage its various publics. One of the innovations that we've brought is the town hall meetings that allow key government officials to be out there to speak to major issues and engage the country in a conversation, because we believe that our politics must be more about issues, verifiable data, things we can agree on, policy conversations. Now, what we have done with this first town hall meeting, the first in a number of town hall meetings we'll be having this year, is to give the administration an opportunity to do something novel, which is to go back to its social contract, or the foundation of its social contract with the people of Ghana, and remind ourselves of what we promised at the time we were looking for power, and to account to the people for how much of that we have delivered or we are in the process of delivering. And the legend to that chart essentially is that when we say we have delivered, what we mean is that we've completed it. When we say we are delivering, we are yet to complete it. And also, in all humility, to be able to explain to the people of Ghana what we have not been able to touch so far, which is what we call pending, and if we have a good rationalization of why do so. So we believe that between the exercise of providing information and also deepening our democracy, it is important to do these town hall meetings to engage various publics on things like, as a foundation conversation, our 2016 manifesto. That is essentially the rationale behind what we've started.
We did a bit of an analysis of the areas of focus at Citi News, and we noticed a large chunk of this was the macroeconomy, and then there was something on the banking sector, and then we saw that he also spent some time talking about free SHS and social programs, and then he also discussed digitization, and then he ended up by then talking about we have delivered. Any idea behind those areas of emphasis? For example, there wasn't much on infrastructure, for example. What's the thinking behind those areas of emphasis?
So we have already mentioned that our second town hall meeting, which should take place, I think, maybe somewhere around early April or late March, will focus squarely on infrastructure.
Good.
And so what we did was not to include so much infrastructure detail in this one. But, you know, for any party in government, any administration, and I'm sure Omani would recall around 2008 when they came to power, one of the first things you need to do is to check the macro foundation of the country, what you call in economic terms the macro fiscals, and ensure that if you inherited things at a time when the macro fiscal situation was abysmal, A, you restore, B, you bolster or maintain stability. Why? Because it is upon that stability that you are now going to build your entire programming. In the economic area, things like growth, which will come with jobs and incomes for people, in the public goods and services area, in social services, but ultimately to ensure that people can get a higher quality of life. So like I think the AFDB boss recently says, nobody eats macro statistics. That is true. But it is an important foundation, which if you don't get right, you can't do anything up there. So it was strategic for us to spend some time starting off on the macros that we inherited and what we've done in the last 3 years and 2 months to bring the macro to a stable point and to bolster this macro. And at the same time, begin to deliver the elements of growth and quality of life improvements that we promise. So there's a method to what you may call the madness, and it is deliberate to set a certain foundation, show where we have come from, where we are, and what remains to be completed.